Hello, everyone. I am here for my review of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 6. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am Lady T. I like to do reviews on scripted reality shows as well as scripted shows. If you're returning, you one of my peoples, welcome back. We don't have any comments from last week's video, so we're going to jump on right on in. Whitney and Lisa, they go to this like aerial exercise place. I was like, yeah, I would have been huffing and puffing and about to pass out doing that. It looked like fun, but it seemed like you got to use a whole lot of muscles. And at this point in time, I am not ready for that. Like, I started my diet last week and I've been doing so good, eating like um turkey breast sandwiches and some apples and some clementines and eating some, bringing in some more fruit into my diet. I am doing good. I'm a, eventually try to get out from using like the little tortilla shells and then using like some lettuce. So, to be a little bit healthier. But yes, and I've been off of soda for 2 years. So I'm gonna start, incorporating exercising into my routine. So maybe one day I will be able to do that. It just looks like I'm gonna be sore from my head to my toe. And even though I ain't did nothing with my head. Yeah, it looked like fun, but I mean I'm gonna have to, get it a little bit more in shape before I can do that. Moving over to Mary and her husband, Robert Sr. I think they just got a marriage on paper and that is it. I don't know if it started out like that, but that's what it seems like it is. Like when the whole pandemic first happened, he got stuck in Florida, and it was a thing of, oh, I miss him, to like, oh, you know I miss him, but like at the same time, I'm happy I have this house. It's just me and Robert Jr. And now that he's back, it's like, oh, well, I need to find somewhere for you to go because I've gotten used to just you not being here. Yeah, and then like they was in the kitchen, he was cooking. It's just like I like the long grains of rice. He likes the short grain of rice. I don't know what the difference is because I don't be eating rice like that. So yeah, what is the difference between long grain rice and short grain rice? But anyway, he's cooking chicken, and she's like, "Are you gonna put that chicken back on the plate that you picked it up off of?" And I'm like, "Why is that raw chicken on the plate in the first place?" See me when I'm cooking chicken, I open up the package. On one side of the sink, I'm rinsing it off, and then I'm putting it into a colander on the other side of the sink. And once all of my chicken is rinsed off, depending what I'm gonna do, if I'm frying it, I have a whole other bowl of flour with the seasonings on it. And once all my chicken is no longer in the colander, I wash my hands and then I spray the cabinet top, the countertop, and the sinks with bleach and the colander. Whatever the raw chicken hit, I'm spraying it down and letting it sit while I'm cooking. And once I'm done cooking and ate, I'll come back through, wipe everything down, wash the colander. But that's just me. I season my chicken while it's in the colander and then put it into the flour to season it. But I spray it down. 'Cause, some people they say you don't need to rinse off the chicken. Yes, you rinse it off real good, get all that fat and all that stuff off of it. If you need to use lemon or vinegar, do that. But afterwards, spray your whole area down with some type of bleach to disinfect. But she's over there like, yeah, it looks like you're going to put that cooked chicken on a plate where the raw chicken was at, and I'm gonna need you not to. So these two was going back and forth with that. Moving over with Jen. Jen wants to show the ladies that she appreciates them and she loves them by buying them some jewelry with the money that she defrauded from the elderly. Yes, I'm going to be continuously saying that. Every time Jen brings up, ooh, like this, I'm thinking, you you defrauded elderly people for that money, didn't you? Mm-hmm. I'm going to keep on bringing it up. And I'm like trying to remember what her hairstyle looked like when, she first, the FBI was first coming at her. So I was like, next week she got two braids in. So I was like, did she have two braids in when they were about to leave to go out of town and the FBI was like closing in? Yeah. But yeah, she's picking out jewelry like she's selling on some snowflakes. I'm wondering if Jen is giving people, gifts in the past with the money she defrauded the elderly out of. Do the people have to give that back? I mean, I don't want nothing to do with this defrauded, the jewelry that you got me, whatever it was. Um, FBI people, yes, Jen got me this bracelet about 2 years ago. I didn't know that she was defrauding the elderly, so you can take this bracelet back. Okay? She got me a coat. I don't know if it was the money she used to defraud the elderly, but y'all take that. Whatever it is, she paid for dinner. I'm going to give y'all my $50 worth of my dinner. I don't want nothing to do with it. So we're moving over to Heather. Her parents didn't talk to her about sex. It was like, don't do it. And that was it. But she explained what sex was to her daughters about like they cat and like wandered off, got pregnant, and came back with kittens and like was like, whoop, I ain't doing that no more. But it's like you need to have a talk with your kids about what sex is because they're a good chance they're gonna learn it from a friend and be misinformed and not wrestling with, well, if you do it like this, you ooh, voice. If you do it like this, you're not gonna get pregnant. If you do this and then hop up and down, you're not gonna get pregnant. No, so that's why you need to have these talks with your kids, so they're not learning it anywhere else. Like on the show Bridgerton, it's back in like the 1800s. The girls knew nothing about what sex was, didn't find out what sex was or where babies come from until their wedding night. Yeah. So I know it's going to be an awkward conversation, but this is a conversation you're going to have with your children to let them know so they're protecting themselves just in case they are misinformed. Whitley, Justin, Lisa, and what is Lisa's husband's name? John. They go out for a double date. They just happen to go to the restaurant that is owned by Lisa's friend who was supposed to cater Angie's party. Now, Lisa and Whitney have been getting along fine, and Whitney was letting her guard out. But like, Whitney was like, hold up, this is your friend, such and such restaurant. She's feeling like this is a setup. That Whitney, not Whitney, but Lisa was only, she was being manipulative and like laughing at all her jokes. And oh my goodness, I love Whitney. Like, how you go from basically ignoring her to I love her in a matter of weeks, if it was even that. And she was like, yeah, this is like, you brought me here to prove your innocence. She's like, what? What are you talking about? Well, your friend Aubrey right here was supposed to cave your Angie's, you know, her her charity event. Whatever reason, she couldn't do it. But why out of nowhere we eating dinner and she comes up, I can't believe what Angie did. We don't do this on Fridays. It's like, stop it right there. What's going on here? Because this is feeling like a setup. And I can understand where she's coming from. Like, Lisa wanted to get it on camera to show that Aubrey was telling the truth and that Angie was out here lying. Now, I know it was some kind of text message that were supposedly sent out that Angie wanted things to be done like for free and she was going to talk about the restaurant on air, but Aubrey, the caterer slash restaurant owner, didn't want to do that because she got burnt before when she went on there and catered somebody for free and they didn't talk about the restaurant. But she was actually going to have somebody at her restaurant and they was going to talk about it. Something like that was going on. Lisa claims it isn't a setup and that she didn't ask Angie to say anything, but it's like you brought us our food, and then instantly you sit the food and okay, here's your what's it called? Here's your chicken, here's your steak, here's your fettuccine alfredo, here's your shrimp pasta. I can't believe what Angie did. It was like that, and coming from Whitney, and she already is kind of like she's getting close to Lisa, but like she always knows that Lisa always has ulterior motives. So she was like, "This just feels like a setup, plain and simple." And the reason why I think that Lisa and Aubrey are not telling the truth is because I remember when Angie, Lisa, Jen, and Meredith and Whitney was sitting there, and she was like, well, the cater didn't come. Well, you're friends with Whitney. It's like, well, I'm doing this because you're still friends with Whitney, or you're still pursuing a friendship with Whitney. Am I the only one who remembers that? But anyway, Whitney was like, we're gonna leave the past in the past and we're gonna move forward. All right. No more of this. I'm not here for it. I don't think Mary wanna be with Robert Sr. anymore. Like she don't want Robert Jr. to move out because then she's gonna have this I don't wanna say be stuck with, but she's gonna have to deal with just her and Robert Sr. being there. And they already don't share rooms, and she's like, he was like, "This is your." Now I don't know when did this started in their marriage, but it was like, hey, he was like, "Hey, this is your room," and she thought that was weird, but now she's happy in her own space. It's like Robert Jr. was a buffer in their relationship, and without him being there, she's gonna have to just be around Robert Sr. more, and she's just not liking it. I'm like, girl, if you're not happy, just go ahead and leave. I know you said that your grandma wanted you to, marry Robert Sr., whether that was true or whether you was like, he was coming into some money. I want to live this lifestyle because grandma was always, taking me on expensive trips and stuff like that. I want that to continue, so I'm going to marry this man. Or at one point, you actually love this man. Whatever it was, if you're not happy right now, just go ahead and leave. I couldn't imagine being so miserable in a relationship, whether there was money there or not. I am all about peace of mind, plain and simple. So Jenny and Dewey, they go skiing. She's like, she loves having her, spending time with her kids, but sometimes it's like I just like me and Dewey going swimming, going camping, going skiing, just having adult quality time. It's just that she doesn't want to have any more kids. She doesn't have the energy to be chasing a child around. She doesn't have the energy to be getting up on them 3 a.m., 6 a.m. feedings, the energy to be changing diapers. Dewey wants more kids. And it's she now mind you, she's had 9 miscarriages. And then she had one baby. She said it was stillborn, but then she also said the baby lived for like an hour and they had to do CPR and everything and they couldn't bring the baby back. And all this time, she was sedated as this was going on. And Dewey was the one that seen everything happen. So, yeah, she was hurt about everything going on, but he was like seeing what the baby went through was traumatizing for him. He doesn't understand, it seems like she is mentally and physically tired. That many miscarriages, and thankfully, she was able to carry 3 to times. She's not trying to do that again. And on top of that, she's had her tubes tied. So that means she's going to have a surgery to untie her tubes and then try to get pregnant. And then there's a good chance that something can happen to her. And her being in her 40s, I know it happens every day. There's women having babies in their 50s. But the older you get, the more risk that there's going to be some developmental problems with the child. She was like, she doesn't want to have a baby and she doesn't want to die. And he's like, what about his sister wife? And he was being dead serious about this. Apparently, his grandpa had 4 wives. She was like, yeah, my daddy had 7 girlfriends. That don't mean I want to do that. I don't want to have any more kids. And I don't want you to be out here looking like I am not enough. Now, I think I heard this somewhere. I was watching something. It was like the only reason they outlawed polygamy in America is because the men who could not afford multiple wives made a big fuss about it. Like, this man over there, he got 4 wives because he got this money, and I can only afford to have one wife, and that's not fair, and that's why they outlawed polygamy. I heard that somewhere. I just can't remember where it was. So, y'all, that was the just. If I left anything out, by all means, yeah. If I left anything out, by all means, leave a comment below. If you're new to my channel, hey,